Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Thursday, December 18th. It is 6:31 right now. Market is now open. Sorry for the late start. Had some connectivity issues and was doing some stuff in the background here. So if you guys were looking to take the breakout obviously was for a buy right there. It shot up and went straight up to target. So that is the first entry for the day right there. If you guys were looking to get into that one. I think shot up pretty heavily right there, depending on how far you wanted to write it up. So there goes that first one right there. If you look at the listed entries for today, not too many entries. However, should be quality. So, hey, Message, morning. Morning, Steven. Morning, Jesus. Morning, Maria. Morning, Mendez. Morning, Barack. Morning, Ben. Morning, Lila. Morning, everybody. Yeah, Jesus said interesting candle at 5:31. I was wondering the same thing. So I was looking at the news. We had the CPI data. So I did notice that, but it was huge, right? It was huge compared to what we're used to seeing. So let's go back and take a look and measure how big that candle moved up. Yeah, 158 points. Doesn't happen too often, but it does. So we got that right there. Let's see, the first target entry for today is going to be it's not for a while. We have a lot of the same similar entries to like yesterday for the most part. A few of them are a little different. So, um, if you guys look at the list, I just made a few changes. So I took off the trading view time because that's pretty irrelevant. We already know at this point that it's a 2 hour difference. I swapped it out with a weighted average. So Masish has pulled up the data. He's still going through it, but we have like over 1 million lines of data. So it's a lot of data to go through. Um, we'll uh, we'll see what we can pull from that data. But from the surface level, Masish did mention that like the weighted average data way out to be a little more important in comparison to like a lot of the other stuff that we were looking at. So I did include that in our results. I might have to adjust the criteria a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Also, I tried to do what we talked about yesterday with including, different risk to reward parameters, and the list is just way too long. It's not necessary. So I took that off. But for the most part, we'll uh, we'll see what this yields. So we have two target entries for the day. First target entry is not going to be for like another 10 minutes or so. And these are the parameters for that first target entry. So the first target entry has a 6.41 max equity drawdown. It has a probability of 60% overall, has a profit factor of 2.667. And looking over here at the weighted average, so the weighted average is 60 plus 62.50 divided by 200, has a weighted average of 61.25. So not too bad. And you'll be looking for a sell, of course. So we'll see. Yesterday I came across this tool on NinjaTrader. It's a pretty cool tool. Um, it works really well in choppy markets. I was playing around with it yesterday, and it's like something that could be used to like pass evals like really fast. If you're trying to pass these Apex evals, um, it's an expensive tool though. It's about $2,000 for the test for the tool. What it does, and I'll just kind of explain it. I'm talking with the owner right now because I'm testing it out, and he was asking me if I wanted to share it with you guys. So I'm gonna test it out a little further. The way that the tool works, it's a grid style tool. Um, and the way that it works is like basically it sets orders at a specific parameter. Like say for example, if I wanted to start the grid right here at like 560, what it would do is it would set orders at every 10 points if I wanted to. Like it would set a pending order like right here and a pending order. Why is my tool showing? Yeah, like a pending order like right here, a pending order right here. So when we're in a choppy market, what happens is it just takes orders like so it'll flip. Yeah. It'll keep taking orders like here and there. So like basically like it'll take an order here, take an order here. So it'll take a buy here, take a sell here, get out of it, take a sell here, take a buy here, and it just keeps like every time it moves back and forward, it rotates the trade. And by doing that, if you find a choppy market like something like this where it's super super choppy for like 10 or 20 minutes, you can make like a couple $1,000 within just running it for a few seconds. Not a few seconds, a few minutes. So it's a really cool tool. I think if we have some downtime, let me see, we have some downtime. We don't really have a lot of downtime today, but if we do have some downtime, I'll try to run it in the background on like a sim account and then just see how much profit I can yield off it. Because I did it yesterday. I basically ran it from like, when the market dies out. So the market would die out like basically from 640 or not 640, like like 9 o'clock until like 11. So like from 9 to 11, I ran the tool and I was able to like pass like pretty much every well not pass my accounts, but I was like doing it with the sim account to see how it worked. And I was able to yield like, $3,000 like very, very quickly. And 3,000 is what you need for a 50K count. And that's only using one contract. So just something that but there's a downside. So if market starts trending, you're gonna blow your account. So you can't use it when the market's trending. You have to find times where the market's very, very slow. Um, yeah, and I'm sure there's ways to use it. Like if you wanted to use it when the market is trending, you just have to widen out the grid a lot further. So instead of having a grid at 10 points, you have the grid at maybe like 100 points. So at 100 points, it would just buy and sell types of orders. All right, so we have one in tray here coming up, or it came up already. It's for a buy right here at 637. It was against momentum, had max drawdown of 6.30, weighted average at 50, overall of 50. Buy and sell at 50, profit factor of 1.987. So, um, yeah, there would be a buy entry right here, which came up. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't take it. It's against momentum, but that was the first entry of today. Oh, wow. Yeah. Let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, Masih said 4 million lines of data just for stage two. Stage four will have 157 million lines of data. That's crazy, Masih. I see Steven's questions. I already talked to Steven, so uh, you guys know Steven's questions. They're kind of all over the place. Patricia's asking what's the name of it. Um, so right now, I was talking to him and he said not to share it because he's working on it. He's making some adjustments to the tool, so you guys can't get access to it right now. But once he fixes I ran into some bugs in it with his tool, so he's fixing it. Once he fixes it, he'll put it up and I'll let you guys know. But it's basically a grid style tool. So Masish, there was this tool that I ran across yesterday. It it's a grid style trading. Basically, what it does is like say for example, I wanted to start a grid like right here at 48,510, right? And what happens is that on NinjaTrader, it automatically plots entries at like every 10 points, or you could say it's whatever points you want. I typically would put it to 10 points, and it works really good with choppy markets. So for example, it's not choppy right now, but it's been choppy like lately. So what happens is it just basically plots entries at every 10 points. So at 530 right there, it'll plot a sell entry. At 500, it'll plot a buy entry, and then vice versa. Or here, I'll just do this. I'll use the levels indicator. That's actually, it's all it does. So what it does here on the levels indicator, it'll do something like this, and then it'll plot entries at all these 10 points. So like basically you could have a max order, like a max set of orders. Um, there's different parameters you can put. You could put like how far you want the lines, how far you want, or how far you want the orders, how many orders you want max, and it'll just stack orders. So basically what it did, what I would do, and I don't think this is a good strategy. I think this is just good to pass evals. But if you wanted it at like 20 points or something like that, like right here, there'd be a buy limit or a sell limit. There'd be a buy limit down here, another buy limit, another sell limit. So when price is chopping back and forth, it'll buy, it'll sell, it'll buy, it'll sell. And then you'll just like basically scoop profits here and there as price bounces through there. Um, and then like, for example, if it keeps dipping, like say for example, it comes right here, so it'll buy right here, buy right here, buy right here. And then when it comes back up, it's like, okay, sell, sell, sell. So you're basically recycling the trades. It's you're entering position, it sells it, it enters, it sells it. It's just really quick. It's really quick the way it does it. Um, I came across a tool and then I used it yesterday. And I was able to like, because you could set a set amount of profit. Like for example, if you just want to pass an eval, you can set it to like 3,000. Once it hits 3,000, it shuts off. Um, and you're out with your profit or whatever. Or if you have a max loss, you just set a max loss and then it shuts off. It works really good in a choppy market, not necessarily in a directional, because if it keeps going down, you're gonna be holding the bag with a bunch of buy orders and it's just gonna keep dipping and dipping and dipping until you reach your max drawdown of whatever you chose. Um, so yeah, exactly. So yeah, Masich said, but it's over if it pushes at all. You're done. You need a safety layer. Exactly. So there's different things that you can use for it. Maybe I could share my screen at some point later. Yeah, maybe at some point later. So we have our last target entry at 721, right? So at 721, I'll see if I could share my screen on my laptop with NinjaTrader and I'll just run it and you guys can kind of see how it works. It's pretty crazy. Like um the tool is actually really good. It's actually really good, and I didn't run into any mistakes. I also ran it with the copier, and it did run into some mistakes because obviously there's going to be slippage and whatnot. But for the most part, it actually worked pretty good. Um, so again, I don't think it's a good strat. I don't think it's a good tool to use for like actual trading. I think it's just a good tool for passing evals because it's risky, just like what Musish said and just like what I mentioned. Like if you were to get into a situation like this where price is now starting to drop, you would have blown your accounts. 100% you'd have blown your accounts. And you would need to use something like you need to use a very volatile asset. So YM probably wouldn't be the best asset to trade on because it's more directional. You'd have to use it on something like NQ because I use it on NQ and I just it's the cool thing about it is you just set it and you like let it run and see how NQ here is very choppy. See how it kind of chops up a lot? It's easy to just take a couple of wins here and there. Because if you're doing, like, say, for example, 10 contracts, I think the 10 contracts is like, or one contract, one times five um, times 10 times zero point 0.5, I think, or times two. Yeah, so it's a couple $100 per trade. I mean, I'll show you guys a little later. I'll try to like screen share my laptop to here, and then I'll just run in the background. But we'll do that later. So just let's focus on what we got going on here, and then I'll share that with you guys. That's the point. Yeah. So if there's, I mean, if anything, I could probably, I mean, it's not a good habit though. It's not really a good habit. It's not a good habit for you guys, but like what I can possibly do in the future is because I know how to use the tool. I don't think this is a good tool for everyone. Um, and you guys will see why, because it's very lucrative, but it's also very easy to blow your account if you use it incorrectly. So let me scroll up real quick. Yeah, Rev said isn't using an algo bot against Apex rules. So it's not for evals. They don't care about evals. That's why I was saying like the tool is good to pass an eval, but not good for for actual trading. I mean, you'll blow your account quickly, guys. Like, like right now is a good time to use it. So the evals are super, super cheap. If you guys missed out on the 90% off that was happening, it's still 80% off right now. So the 90% off deal is gone. But if you guys want to still get some Apex accounts, they're still really cheap. Just make sure to use make sure to use the the code that I shared with you guys. All right, we have the entry coming up shortly, guys. So the entry that's coming up shortly, it has a there was one over here at 641 that also came up. So this was the first one here. This one actually hit full TP already. And we have another one coming up in a bit. So this was the first one here at 641. It had a 9.77 max drawdown, weighted average of 52.78, overall probability of 50, buys 55, sells 45, and a profit factor of 2.027. Actually, this was for a buy, so this is a no entry. Sorry. Okay, this is a problem. So we have the pinning momentum here right now, right, guys? So we have the pinning momentum on this 647 candle. This is going to be an issue because the entry's coming up right now, and there we go. We have the pinning momentum again. Um, this is not a good sign for this entry. For this entry that's coming up, because this pinning momentum is probably going to linger into the next candle. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so we got the entry coming up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to sit out on this one. I don't know if you're looking to take this one, Message. This is gonna be one of the target entries. It's at 648. That's a 6.41 max drawdown, 61% weighted average, 60% overall, 58 for buys, 62 for sells, and has a 2.667 um, profit factor. This thing does have the pending momentum on it. I mean, it looks like it could be a good entry, but it does have that pending momentum that's flickering on it right now. Um, I'm gonna sit out on this, guys. That flickering momentum has, it's proven to us that it's been a problem in the past. So I'm gonna sit out on this one right here. This is a 648 entry, currently running in profit. So I'll follow up for you guys there. I mean, it looks good for the most part, but like I said, we've been looking at that flickering momentum over the past couple of weeks, and it's been a problem. You guys can see how the volatility here is kind of flat. Let's take a look at the candles here. Okay. Also looking at the confluences here, they don't look super, super great with regard to, I mean, they look okay. Actually, they look good. No. So looking at the candles here across the board, they actually look pretty good. Specifically the higher time frame, that's what my focus would be on. We have a big wick over here on the 30-minute. We have a big wick here on the 1 hour, and we have a huge wick right here on the 4 hour. So this is showing that price is trying to come down. The only problem here is that this candle was pretty big, right? This 1 minute candle was huge, so it looks like it's due for retracement. And also we had the flickering momentum on these previous candles over here, right? So that's something that I would be concerned about, and it's a good reason we skipped this trade because look, it would have lost. So again, we try to point out things that could be wrong or that could mess with the trade, and I pointed that out clear as day, right? We had that flickering momentum. That's the whole reason why I turn on this alert, so I know when to not to take trades. And I wouldn't be surprised here if this thing ends up, the momentum starts to flicker again. Right, so look, there goes that. All right, so no entries for me so far. Good. I'm gonna put flickering. So if you guys look at the notes, I put FM, just an acronym for flickering momentum. No trade. But for the full list of trades, I'm still gonna put a loss there. I'm just putting that for the target entries. All right, I'm gonna step away for 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go grab some water and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So let's see. There was another entry at 650, which was with momentum. Looks like that would have went against again. So the flickering momentum finally closed. You guys can see we had a bunch of penny momentums over here, or flickering momentums. Like I said, if you have that flickering momentum, you want to be careful with your entry, right? Because it's indicating that momentum is attempting to shift the other way. So with that being the case, I mean, obviously I wouldn't take any trades there at 650. Next one was at 654. Looks like it's really choppy today. I mean, just look at the market so far. Super, super choppy overall. Um, yeah. Looks like whenever an entry comes up, it just flickers the other way before it goes back. But we'll keep following. The next target entry is not for, it's not for a while. It's like for not for another 20 minutes. Let me scroll up real quick. Nice. So Paul caught the sell earlier. Mystige caught it earlier as well. Got it early with his limit from price data system analysis. Paul got it from the pivot. Nice. Yeah, so Paul had a pending order at the pivot. He was applying well, he probably wasn't applying the specific strategy, but for CJ, that would be the market flow V2, unless that was what you're doing, Paul. Yeah, it seems like the market flow V2 has been hitting a lot lately. If you guys are not familiar with the market flow V2, basically you'd follow momentum. So for example, we have a sell momentum right here, price comes below, you look for the retest of the pivots. Your pending order would be waiting right in between the blue and the red or blue and the green pivot, and you would just write it down like that. One of our more popular strategies from prior. Again, if you want to take a market flow V2, you could take another one right here. Again, price, we have a buy signal right here. So if you're looking for a market flow V2 that way, retrace, continuation of higher, your pending order being between the pivots right there. If you guys want to learn that strategy, it's in the course with like the older strategies. Simple. All of our strategies are pretty much they're the same, right? If you look at the market flow V2, it's just this type of pattern, right? You're just looking, all of our strategies are momentum trend based. So everything looks like this. You have price push up, market flow V2. You have price push up, push down, continue. That's a MPS V2, right? Market momentum pullback scalp. If you're looking for a pivot scalp, price pushes up, retrace, pivot scalp. You're looking for a momentum trade, price pushes up, confirmation, push up higher. So all of our entries, they line up in certain areas. So you're gonna have an entry that either happens right here early, you're gonna have an entry that happens right here later for confirmation. You're gonna have an entry that comes up a little later right here for confirmation, right? So momentum entry, this could be a V1 variation too. So if you guys are looking at any of my strategies, there's basically, you're looking for this leg of movement and your entry is going to happen at any of these points right here, right? If you want to get in right away, so for example, if you want to get in at momentum, your entry would happen right here, right? If you want to get in for the reversal, you'd get in from right here. If you could get in from right here as well. If you want to wait for the momentum pullback and then confirmation, you would get in right here for a market flow V2. If you want to get in for an MPS V2, you'd get in from right here, right? Because you have price push up, retrace, continuation, confirmation, and then your entry would be right there. So that is basically the gist of all of the strategies that I apply. So all the entries that I look for, we look for this. Look for this type of pattern, and there's four different opportunities for you to get in. Either early, midpoint, confirmation point, or late right here. It's very, and I'll put it right here. So this would be like the momentum scalp strategy, right? This would be a V1 variation. I don't want to put strategy on there, but momentum scalp, right? This would be a market flow V2, and this would be an MPS V2. So if you guys look at this, I mean, it's very simple and it's very straightforward, right? Very simple, very straightforward. If you're looking at any of these strategies, these are the entry points for them. So like if you want to get in right away, you could. If you want to wait for a confirmation, you could. If you want to wait for a later confirmation, you could. If you want to get in at later, at the latest that it can be. So for example, right here, this is where it would be. So price pushes up, retrace confirmation, MPS V2 would happen right there. It would still be running. So all this stuff runs in conjunction with the algo. So we have these entries which come up, and then we have the algo which will give us specific times, like enter here, enter there, enter wherever it may be. And if it lines up with the strategy, most of the time it's going to hit, right? So that's what CJ's been doing. I think CJ's here as well, or CJ might not be here yet, but that's basically what CJ does. CJ will line up the strategy with the algo entry. If the algo entry lines up with the strategy, he'll take it. And that's how he's was able to yield, all this profit over the past couple of days because, or like for the past couple of months, because he's using it in conjunction. He uses a confluence. So the algo will identify his entry point, and then The algo identifies entry point, but then his the strategy will be his confluence for entry. All right, let me update the spreadsheet here. Let's keep updating these as price continues to obviously move along. Before one thing that I discussed yesterday, Masish, I don't think you were here yesterday, but one thing that I discussed yesterday that I found to be interesting was so like how we have a list of the target entries. Um, what I've been doing, and I don't know if you were here when I talked about this previously, but basically I'm looking to take just one trade a day now. I know we have like a list of like, two, three, four, five target entries sometimes. I'm just looking to get into one of them. And one other thing that I noticed yesterday is that if like I would basically just go for the first entry of the day, whether it be a skip or whether I take it, I basically would go for the first target entry of the day. And the reason for that is because usually as we get later into the session, like for example, we had the first entry at 6:48. I already identified it as not a good entry because of the flickering momentum. We have one more entry coming up later at 7, we'll just say 7:21, of course. It's the same entry as yesterday. Um, Usually the market volatility starts to die down. So at that point, the entries are, the odds of you getting chopped out are a lot more likely. So for me, um, if the first trade loses, it's better to just not take the next one. Because yesterday we had a trade at 6:48. It was skipped, so we skipped it because of the flickering momentum like today, and the trade lost. Then we had another trade at 7:21. That trade actually lost too. But I could have skipped that one if I would have followed the criteria, right? So I'm looking to get into just one entry per day and the earlier entry that shows up. Whether it wins or whether it loses, that's the only entry I'm looking to take, and that's going to be able to kind of minimize my drawdown. Yeah, Masishi, yeah, it makes sense. The Sage already found it. The easier entries have higher win rates. It tends to taper off. Yeah, exactly. So like Masishi over here mentioned, I have restricted my trades to a bunch as well. I trade 6:30 to 7:15 only momentum Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, no, and I agree with you 100%. Okay, so it's great. We both identify the same thing. We're trying to take the entries earlier in the session. And this is from previous experience. I mean, you weren't here like years back, but years back, I used to cut off my trading at 7:30 actually. So for a lot of you guys who have traded with me in the past, we used to trade between 6:30 and 7:30. And then right here, market volatility would die out. So I would just stop trading. We would still hang out for the live session, but I would be done looking for entries. So it goes hand in hand with what you looked at right there, the siege. So we do have an entry coming up later, guys, at 7:21, but I think this is going to be one that I'm probably going to be skipping out on for the obvious reasons, right? Because I just mentioned to you guys the obvious reasons of and I'll just share the list. So I know we were trying to hide this and not share this with the public, but I'm just going to share the list to show you guys what's coming up so that you guys are aware of like today's just one of those days where I'll share the list. So, all right, here's the list right here. The reason why I'm sharing the list is because we just have one target entry, which is at 7:21. This trade over here technically lost, but we skipped it, right? So because this first trade here lost, I'm pretty much done looking for entries for the day. Uh, Thankfully, I was able to skip the possible loss there. There's still going to be one entry here at 7:21, but because this one lost and I'm looking for one trade per day, um, that's going to allow me to survive till the next trading day. Right. So, um, yeah. So again, like you weren't here yesterday, Masij, but I explained yesterday that you really just need 2 wins per week, right? If you have 2 wins per week, you can be profitable because we're doing a 1 to 2 risk to reward. So like game plan or weekly trading plan. And I put this up yesterday, but I'll put it up again. So my weekly trading plan is basically aim for 2 wins per week, right? Or only take one trade per day, aim for 2 wins per week. This will yield a profit weekly. So this is my goal pretty much every week. Take one trade per day, basically take one of the target entries. And the reason why this will yield a profit is because using 1 to 2 risk reward, aim for 2 wins per week. This will yield a profit weekly. So with this right here, this is basically what I'd be aiming for, right? Because so for Monday, say we have a win, and I'll just use this for example. Monday, win plus 2R. Tuesday, loss, -1R. Wednesday, loss, -1R. Thursday, loss, -1R. This isn't specific, but I'm just showing you guys an example of like how this and Friday win plus 2R, right? So if this is the goal total, 2 wins plus 4R, 3 losses minus 3R plus 1R for the week. So if you guys follow this plan, and if you can do this weekly, right? If you can do this weekly, if you can avoid, or for example, I avoided the loss today on Thursday, right? So I'm already at an upper hand. If I win on Friday, then we're back in profit. So because we're doing a 1 to 2 risk reward, if you win on Monday, you'd be up 2R. Tuesday, you'd be down 1R. Wednesday, you'd be down 1R. That's basically break even. Thursday, down 1R. You'd be -1R. And you win on Friday, that'd be at plus 2R. In that situation, you're still up for the week, right? So this is kind of a goal because if you can do this weekly, by the end of the month, if you have like a shitty, like say every week sucks and you have like this, right? You have a 1R every week. By the end of the month, you'll be up 4R. So 4R is still pretty good. I mean, let's do the math. I'm doing 10 contracts per trade on my personal account. So 10 times 5 times 1R is going to be 30. Still be up some profit, right? Not a lot of profit, but you'd still be up some profit. And if you're trading with Apex, you times that by 20. That's still pretty good. You have to do the math, right? If you do the math and you're just doing 1 hour per week, you can still make pretty good profit. Of course, some weeks you're going to be better, right? You're not always going to have a 1 hour week. Some weeks you'll have an example of where like you have a win streak, which could be the case, right? Say for example here, say Tuesday say you have 3 wins, right? And then 2 losses. So you're up 6R minus 2R, that's 4R for the week. Right. I'm just putting this in perspective. I'm giving you guys the different types of ways that you can yield profit trading. I'm just showing you guys that like if you understand how the risk management works and you can be able to survive drawdown periods. Like right now, we're currently in a drawdown period, sort of. We're at break even for the week, but I skipped today's trade. So if I took today's trade, I would have been in drawdown. That's just the fact of the matter. I would have been in drawdown, but because I'm not in drawdown. I'm able to just kind of float through this week and hopefully tomorrow I'll have a win. And with that win, I'll be able to bounce back into profit. Yeah, Masish said, if you do that, it's impossible to lose accounts. This is just free money. It will be slow in the beginning, but as you scale, it will get better and better. Yeah, exactly, Masish. And that's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. The reason why I'm trading this way more conservatively is mainly because of the hedge fund, right? Because for the hedge fund, my main goal is really to yield a profit for everybody, right? Whether it be a small profit or a break even. The goal is to make profit and to avoid as many losses as possible. So, if you're trading one account, yeah, it's not going to be a big difference. But if you're trading multiple accounts, things can scale up very quickly. And that's like the mindset that you guys should have. Because with Apex, you could have 20 accounts. So you I mean you just have to like think in perspective. Because realistically, you're not going to trade one account, right? Nobody here is going to be trading one account long term. You should be trading multiple accounts. For me, I'm trading like 70 accounts, right? So you think about that, like I just mentioned. For one account making 1,500, that times 70, I'm okay with making a certain amount of money for the end of for the whole year basically. And then I take a percentage of that or I take a management fee of that. So that's the whole aspect of taking, you know, less riskier trades to just, for the most part, you can't guarantee a profit, but in a sense you kind of are. Exactly. Barack said slow but sure works just fine. Yeah. And I think that's going to be my goal for next year. So like next year, January up until I know for this year, we already have my statistics for the trading year. Had a couple losses here, of course, but even with the losses, I'm still uh I'm still doing pretty decently. So here's my statistics right now with my trader sync. So I'm still above the million threshold. Um, but yeah, I took some losses yesterday, of course, so it kind of set me back a little bit. But I'm gonna do this again. So for this year, I showed you all of my trades from January up until today. We're almost done with the year, so I'm gonna try to keep this above a million for the year. For January 2026 until the end of that year, I'm gonna be taking one trade per day so that you guys can see how it worked, right? Like how basically that strategy and that style worked, just taking one trade per day. So I'm excited to do that because I was able to prove to you guys here that if you just followed our strategies for the whole year, you can make pretty good profit. I'm ready to do it again, but in a more conservative way. Probably might even make more profit in that sense because it's going to be easier to scale. So we'll uh we'll um we'll see. I'm really excited for the next year to start because I want to start that um I don't want to call it a challenge, but basically a challenge to myself. Uh Taking one trade per day. Let's see. iPhone is asking what strategy would you recommend to do to at least get past the eval? I've been 2 months trying to pass a 150K. Once I have a PA, I dig this, but until then, um, yeah, probably MPS V2, maybe Market Flow V2. I think those are the two main ones that a lot of people are applying iPhone. Um, or I mean, you could always increase your risk too. So I don't know how much you're risking on your contract sizing, but let's say you're on 150K. I don't know what your max loss is. What's your max loss on 150K? I'm assuming it's five, right? Not nine. Yeah, I think it's five because for the 300K Prestige, it's only 7,500. I know the numbers are they're weird. They're very weird. Yeah, it doesn't scale. It's actually it gets harder as you go higher. So 50K is actually really easy. Um, yeah, 50K is actually the easiest one. 150K is a little harder. It should take you a little longer to pass. But the 300K is like it's a whole different beast, guys. It's a whole different beast, and I'm kind of excited to show you the tool later because I was able to yield up 20K within like 2 hours of running that grid strategy. Um, it's not always going to work, but when it does work, it works pretty well. So, okay, 5,000 divided by 4 divided by 30 divided by 5. Okay, so you should be increasing you should be using an 8 contract if you're only taking one trade per day iPhone. I think that's why it's taking you so long to pass because you're not taking a big enough contract size. Um, yeah, because I just did the equation there. So the equation is basically your max drawdown, which is 5,000. You want to have four. If you're only this is if you're only taking one trade per day, right? If you want to take multiple trades, then four contracts is what you're going to take. If you want to take two trades, you just divide this by two. So like this is for one day. So one day you should only be risking 8 contracts for the entire day. If you wanted to use two trades, you divide that by two. Now you're taking 4 contracts. All right. So the whole reasoning behind that is so in order for you to pass your account, you need 9,000, I believe, right? So 8 times 5 times 60, 2,400, right? Yeah, so you only need three or four days to pass, or 3 or 4 winning days to pass. 3.75 winning days. So this is what I mean about using math to like kind of show you guys like how to, do things properly in a sense. Um, because if you have the equation down, you already know how much you need and how much you can risk. So you're doing, let's see, you said five contracts? Yeah, so five times 60, it's 1,500. So 9,000 divided by 1,500. Okay, so this is why it's becoming a problem, right? Because it takes you twice as long to pass. That's why it's taking so long. Um, yeah, so iPhone said, yeah, I was taking five, so I need five losing trades in a row to blow. So that's a problem. I mean, it's a good thing, but you're passing an eval, so you have to put more risk on the table, right? I know you probably don't want to because if you have four back-to-back losses, you can blow your account. But yeah, that's why it's taking you so long because you're in limbo and like you'll win some and then you'll lose some and then you'll win some and you lose some and you get close to passing and then you end up losing it and then because the thing is like I mean let's see. Let me see what the streaks look like. So like sometimes see like for example here you would have won here but then you would have lost it. You would have won here. So let's just put this in perspective of taking one trade per day, right? So if you took one trade per day, like what I was mentioning, you'd have a win here. You'd have a win here. You have one loss here, so you'd basically be at 4R. In order for you to pass, you need a 6R to pass, right? So you'd have a win here. So basically you'd be two. Well, let's just start from over here. Let's just go a little higher. So let's say you started trading on, I don't know, on December 3rd, right? The first December 1st. So for this month, you'd be 1R or you'd be 2R because you're just taking one trade. So this would be 2R because you only take the first one. You'd be down 1R here, so you'd be basically plus 1R. And then right here, you'd be up 2R. That would be 3R. And then you'd have a loss here, so that'd be 2R. And then you'd have a win here, that'd be 4R. You'd have a loss here, that'd be 3R. You'd have a loss here, that'd be 2R. You'd have a win here, that'd be 4R. And then you have a loss here, that'd be 3R. And then you have a win here, that'd be 5R. And then you have a win here, that'd be 7R. So you would have passed your eval right here if you did exactly what I said, right? So if you did exactly what I was telling you, just one trade per day, you use proper risk, you basically you pass your eval on the 15th because we just did the math right there, right? So you traded from December 1st until the December 15th. That's basically 2 weeks. You would have passed your eval because you'd be up 7R. You need 6R to pass your eval. Does that make sense? So yeah, I just wanted to break down the math for you there. If you just focused on one trade. So I mean, honestly, I think that'd probably be your best bet right there if you were to do that. You gotta do the math. I know it's hard because you want to be safer, but you don't want to blow the account. But if you just do the math and you just kind of break it down to like what you need to pass, you only need 6R. So basically you need or 7R of course, because you need 3.75, of course, in a sense, right? You basically need four almost four wins. But yeah, it would take you basically 2 weeks to pass it. So, I mean, if you want to take that route, take that route. If you want to apply the other strategies, feel free. But just keep in mind that the more trades you take, you put yourself at higher risk because you can make profit, but if you lose it, you're just back to where you started from, right? Um, yeah, honestly, I think with trading, you just have to really bring it down to a science. You have to understand the equations, and then be able to reverse engineer it so you know how, like, what you need to pass. I feel like for a lot of people, they just focus on the monetary value and they're just like, oh, I want to make 10,000, 20,000, whatever. The real goal is just the R multiple, right? Because if you have a positive R multiple and then you multiply that by however much profit you're looking to make, you could be profitable. It's that's the main thing there. Let me scroll up real quick. So I think I saw a couple of things from people who mentioned stuff earlier. So I think Roland mentioned, yeah, he said I used to do that style of trading with gold on here when gold was still a thing. LOL. It's not sustainable long term, like you said, and Masij is right. If it goes one way, it's over. That's why I stopped. I had a good amount, but I had a few times where I got smoked. Yeah. So, all right, let's see. I'm not going to take this trade at 621. If you guys, or 721, if you guys want to take it, feel free to take it. Let's see if we have any pending momentums coming up anytime soon. So we haven't had a pending momentum since 711. This could be a possible gut entry at 721. This has a max drawdown of 7.39, weighted average of 60%, overall average of 55, buy percentage of 45, sell percentage of 67, and a profit factor of 2.326. So if you guys want to take the trade, it's going to happen in about 30 seconds for a sell. Like I said, I'm following my strategy where I'm taking one trade per day. This trade over here lost. It was a see if I would follow this yesterday, I would have avoided my loss yesterday, right? But like I said, this is a flickering momentum at 648. Same thing that happened yesterday. It would have lost. Thankfully, I skipped it because now I don't have another loss here. I would have been on a losing streak right now if I would have taken that trade. So again, if you guys want to take this here, feel free. Connection lost. Of course, connection lost as soon as the candle is going to close. Okay, so if you guys want to take it, it's currently active right now. There goes that flickering momentum, like I said. Not exactly a good entry in my opinion. And then also because of the previous one lost, I already had an idea that this one was going to be very tricky. So it's probably a good decision that I skipped out on this one here, right? Okay, we have a bunch of against momentum trades coming up over here. I'm going to put this under the stats that I skipped it. So for these trades over here, I'm just listing all of them. But for these over here, these are the ones that I'm actually taking, right? The target entries. So this right here, good thing I didn't take the trade because it would have been a loss. And then we have a couple against momentums over here. Okay, so now that we kind of have gone through this real quick, I'm going to try to set up the tool that I was going to show you guys, the grid tool. And I'm going to see if, let me see if I can share with you guys here. All right. So we got a couple against momentums right here at 640. Perfect. All right, cool. I was able to. Whoops. Okay. I don't know if I could put volume on here because it's going to echo. But here, let's see. I can share the screen here. Um, all right, let me see if I could get this going over here. Let me see what's choppy right now. I think NQ might be choppy. Actually, it's not choppy. I'm trying to find an asset that's choppy right now. Or maybe NQ could work. Okay, let's just try it out anyways. Let me open up this tool. Just want to make sure it's on the sim account and it's not taking it on my live account. All right, so I'm gonna set a profit shut off at 32 or 3,500. And let me make myself a co-host here. And then let's see if I can share my screen. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys this tool that I was let's see the Sean session. Yeah, Masif said you need to get that checked out, Sean. You don't want to disconnect when you're in a trade. Yeah, I know. I've tried to get it checked out, and actually, it backfired on me. So initially, I got that checked out, and I complained to NinjaTrader, and then they started looking into all my stuff, and then they made me shut down my hedge fund a long time ago. That's why I had to go and get my licensing, and it was such a mess. I was like, damn, I should have never complained to them. Um, and they never fixed the issue. They just ended up pretty much hounding me for like a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, NinjaTrader, there's not much you can do about it, honestly. They're gonna give you reasons to make it seem like it's your fault, but and then that's just how it is. I mean, that's why I'm moving over to StoneX once we have that approval. All right, so I'm making myself a co-host right now. Let me see if I can share my screen on my laptop. Um, okay, let me see. I'm just gonna put okay. I think my screen is now sharing. I don't know if you guys can see. Okay, cool. I think you guys can see my screen here. Um, I don't know if this is gonna work on NQ because it's so directional right now, but I'm gonna run it anyways. So let's see, current price right now is at trade size gonna be starting price gonna be at 25320. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this on. Or all right, see my chart here? See how all those orders came up? See how it's running? It's just automatically running. I'm in profit right now, a couple $100. And see every time it just moves up. Are you guys looking at my screen? Okay, cool. So yes, yeah, you'd have to choose it. If you guys are on my screen, yeah, everyone's looking at my screen right now. There's a tab on top, Mendes. It says for a specific you have to choose the other one. Yeah, let's see if I could. Yeah, is anybody else having trouble following the screen? But see how everything's automated? It just takes all of the trades. So right now I'm in profit a couple $100, and then I just could just let this thing run for like a while. Basically just let it run. The only time it gets screwed is if like this thing, if you get a breakout candle, right? If it breaks out of this area and it breaks below, your account could be likely blown. But if it just keeps moving within this range, you can easily make a certain amount of profit. So right now I'm in profit about, see, this is where it becomes messy. I'm in profit about 120 right now. I set the goal to 3,500, so when it reaches 3,500, it'll just stop taking trades. So I'm in profit at 710 right now, and it fluctuates super quickly. Surprisingly, the commission isn't really that bad. Rev, I thought the commission was like really bad, but at the end of it, I actually checked on Apex to see how many trades were actually taken. And because they stack on top of each other, they're not like right now. See how there's 5 contracts running right now? That's like one trade that's stacked. Yeah. So the commissions, that was one of my concerns. I was like, damn, the commissions must be freaking crazy, right? But they actually weren't that bad. So I'm in profit right now, 600. Again, it just keeps running until I reach 3,000 and then it stops. I'm in profit 700 now. In profit almost 1,000. It's starting to break out to the upside. See, when it breaks out to the upside like that, all the profit just goes down. That's why you have to find it when like the market's not really it's volatile, but it's not moving directional. The profit fluctuation was crazy. Like right now, I was at 1,000. Now I'm back down to like 220 profit. Let me move this to in Q. So it kind of recycles the profit. Here, let me see if I could just share my entire screen here. Um, Actually, no, it's fine. I'll just leave it as is, and I'll just share it a little later. But yeah, the total profit right now is currently at 450. It's just fluctuating very quickly. But I just leave it as is. I just kind of just leave it and then, whatever happens or until it ends up reaching the profit. Let's see. Miss Mendez is asking, can you please explain how to put it? Can you see it now, Mendez, or are you still having issues seeing it? Just want to make sure. I think you should be good now. Jesus is asking what's a TP. The TP, there's no set TP, but it's basically like when it fills the other orders. So like see for man, this thing's super messy. There's so many orders being filled right here. But see how like there's different lines? Like once one makes profit, the other one, like when it hits another line, it'll close it out. So there's no specific TP. It's just like whenever it hits a point, it'll like make profit, then lose profit, then make profit, then lose profit. And then what you want to happen is where it keeps going back and forth very quickly and then it eventually it just stacks up profits. Right now, my profit's currently at 1,000. So again, I'm getting closer to that point. I've only ran this for a few minutes. Again, my profit shutdown is going to be at 3,500. So once I reach that 3,500, it's going to close me out, or it's just going to close out the program. Yeah, Masih said it seems like a profit recycler, LOL, just putting money in and out of the market. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's just trying to scalp like quick little moves in between. That's why I was saying like this is good for this is good for passing accounts, but it's not good for actual trading, right? So if you just want to pass an eval really quickly with Apex, I mean this is a pretty quick and easy way to do it. Um, and then once you're funded, you could trade your normal way, right? So right now it's currently in profit 750. It's starting to break out to the upside now though, so this is not it's not good for the setup. So I'm now negative, not a lot, negative 300. Now it's back to positive 300. It's very quick. So like what I'm doing here is I'm basically waiting for it to kind of just range heavier. And we really don't want the breakout because if the breakout happens, it's going to push it through. So right now is not exactly like a good time to apply it. Like this would be a good thing to apply during like midday. I think like between 8 and 9 or like 8 to 10. Because so this is what you want. You want markets to be going back and forth like this. Or sorry, I don't know if you guys can see my main screen, but I'm also on my main one right now. Yeah, Daniel said works until spike candle, then you're screwed, huh? Yeah, exactly. You're screwed, but you're not super screwed because I have it limited to a max risk of 750. So if I ever reach 750, it just pulls me out and then it starts over again. Ed said, surely this isn't allowed with Apex. It's okay for passing an eval, but not for actual trading, Ed. Yeah. Yeah, Lot said I'm also not sure Apex rules allow this. No, they don't. Not for actual trading. Exactly. Yeah, Masij said Apex will not allow this for funded, but it's fine. It's to pass, it's fine. Jesus said, could this be lucrative on a personal account? I was thinking about the same thing, Jesus. I think it could if you don't end up getting eaten by the drawdown, right? If you don't get eaten by the drawdown and you don't get eaten up by the commissions, because if you run it all day, you're gonna run into a lot of commissions. But if you just run it for like say an hour, just to and you have a profit goal, like say you wanted to make 1,000 for the day, you just run it for 1,000 and then be done. And then maybe pay like 100 or 200 bucks in commissions, and then you're good. Mendez is asking also, what is the price of this tool? Yeah, no, it's expensive. Yeah, what Daniel said, 2,000 for this. I'm sure Masish can put something like this together. It's not. I mean, it's not necessarily like if you really really want to pass and you want to do this, or so you could actually this could be used in a different like you could pass people's accounts as well, right? I mean, it's going to be violating the agreement of Apex, but like if you wanted to just pass people's accounts, you can do that as well. But so right now I'm getting screwed. I'm getting totally screwed right now because of the it's pushing up, right? It's pushing up really strong right now. So, I mean, you can't see my screen very well, but it's pushing up right now. So, right now I'm at negative 1,600. This is all in a sim account though, guys. So I'm just showing you guys like how this tool works. It doesn't work well in a directional market. It works well in a sideways market. So if you can find a sideways asset and you just, turn this on, like this works good for NQ when it's not flying. Like right now it is flying. So this is not it's not a good time or a good asset to trade on. But if you do this long term, it should balance back out because eventually the directional move starts to die out and then it starts to go back into a chop. Yeah, exactly. Jesus said, yeah, but you can manually turn it on when you see price ranging, then turn it off when it ranges. Yeah, no, definitely Masij. Yeah, if you want to make one that like just to for fun, I mean that'd be cool. It's really not a hard concept. It's just I don't know how to code. Masij knows how to code, so it's not really that difficult. Here, I'll show you guys the actual tool. So let me show you guys a tool over here. Or here, let me let me share my entire screen. Let me hide a couple things here because obviously I'm not supposed to I shouldn't be showing all my stuff. God, I hate on my laptop. It doesn't I make this small. God, I hate on okay, I'm trying to move this over, but um okay, let me just shut this off real quick and then I'm going to share my entire screen with you guys. And let's just reset this. Or here, let's go over here real quick. Um, Let me screen share my whole screen here. I think you guys can see my full screen now, right? Yeah, I think you guys can see my full screen. So let me go over here real quick and I'm going to or let me do this real quick. One second, guys. I'm gonna reset my that one, and let me share my entire screen. Okay, so this is what the tool looks like. Uh, looks like we're going into a chop again. So you guys can kind of see I just want to make sure it's a sim that's loaded and not my personal account, so I don't run this on my actual account. But yeah, this is what the tool looks like. So like basically I set like a profit shutdown right here. Message, and I could give you the I'll talk to you later, message about the about this tool so I can give it to you. And then you could I mean if you want to play around with it and see like what all the parameters and stuff are, it seems like a really simple tool. You could probably make a copy of it. So again, right here, this is how I would set it up. I just set it to one contract. You can see I have it set to, and you guys can see sim account, both directions. You can do either just long or short. I just set it to both. Contract size is one. I have it set to 10 levels. It skips by 5 ticks and a max of 5 entries. So with this right here, I have a starting price of wherever price is at, right? So price is currently at 25,392. So I'll just put 35,390. Um, and then I'll just turn it on. And that's all it is. And then right here, you can see it's currently running again, right? And then you can see my position right here with all my total runnings. So I'll just leave this here and then let me check the chat and see what you guys are talking about over here. Yeah, Masij said I hate so many people in trading communities. They use their rudimentary knowledge of code to scam people by charging 2K for something like this. It's robbery on people that don't know better. Yeah, Nick said I wasn't surprised by the strong push today after those sell-offs the past few. Yeah, I agree with you too, Nick. Um, so let's see. Yeah, because it's not a difficult program, honestly. It's really not a difficult program. And you could probably make it better too, Prestige, where it's like more understandable. But anyways, here's the account. So if you want to see what the total profits is, it's gonna be right here. This is like where the total profits is while running, the program. So right now it's currently at 100 bucks in profit, and you'll see it fluctuate a lot. So I think the best way to do this is just follow the market when it's choppy, and then when it starts to move directional, just turn it off. So it's currently up 200 right now. Um, you guys can also see it right here too on my accounts. So it's up like, or it's down like 400 now because it's starting to move a lot. Again, you want to use this when the market's like super choppy. I mean, I might have to like adjust it a little bit. I think the parameters might be a little too close at 10 points. Maybe if I change to something like 20 or whatever, I'd have to play around with it, of course, but you guys get the gist of like how it works for the most part. See, now it's moving directional again. It doesn't work good in directional markets. You have to only use it when it's choppy. But yeah, if you just look right here, this is the total. So see how it fluctuates? It went from like negative 700 to like positive 100 to like when it starts to chop up, it'll start to stack up profits quickly. But when it starts to move directional, it starts to go into the negative very quickly. But again, this is just a demonstration of like how it works. I kind of wanted to show this to Messi to see if it's something that he could put together, but it looks like he can. I mean, yeah, if it's easy, I think this is kind of like a fun tool to kind of play around with. There's no there's no statistics behind this though. So just, something to keep in mind, guys. This is something, again, like I said, to pass evals. It's not something to use in your actual trading because it's just, and again, right here, see, it went from negative 1,000 to like now negative 100. The fluctuations are so high. So you can pass an account very quickly, but you can also blow it very quickly as well. Ashish said, would you prefer this in TradingView or NinjaTrader? When I copy it, I can make both versions. Yeah, if it's easy to make both, I guess you can make both, Masish. CJ's asking, hey Sean, do you think this tool would be good during Asia session? I tried it during Asia yesterday and I got blown out. So it's actually no, I didn't get blown out. So Asia session, it could work, but you have to use proper parameters, right? I don't think the 10-point thing is good. Like you'd have to figure out like what the because it moves so slow that you'll be hanging on to a position for so long. So I think you could do it during Asia, but the asset still has to be somewhat volatile, or it still has to move to some extent. Yeah, Masij said when I play with it, I'll find the best parameters for YM so we can use it after 7:30. Yeah, if you just run it between 7:30 and 8, I think that actually let me do that now. I didn't even think about that. So let's actually go to I close everything out. Let's go to YM and let's just run it through YM because we're past time already. So 4, 8, 6, or 700. Or let me just do this. 680. All right, there we go. So the brackets actually look better on YM. Easier to see. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't start price automatically, so I have to put in the price there. So I think this would be a fun project, right, Masish? Be a fun project for you to do. Yeah, exactly. The deep back test of the algo. So like I said, guys, this tool is good to just pass evals. Um, not good to actual trade. So like what I would do with this is if you wanted to use something like this, just use it for passing evals, but then use an actual strategy for once you're in the funded stage. So you can see this is actually working a lot better for YM than it did on NQ. It just keeps hitting targets. So I'm in profit about 145 now so far. Again, this is just demonstration, guys, not something that and there you go. Yeah, I think NQ is just a little too crazy. Um, it's actually working really good on YM here because it's not so volatile. So see how the profits are just stacking up? They just stack up over time. You just like you could let it run for 30 minutes. You could even set the time here. So you can set a start time, a stop time. I would just set it to a profit target, and then once it reaches its profit target, it just stops. The one thing with YM though is I think you would have to have you probably would have to have a bigger contract size because one contract's not going to meet it. Let's turn it off real quick, and then let's use like a 10 contract, right? Actually, 10 contract might be a little too high. Let's do 5 contract. Let's change this to 70. Um, okay. Yeah, Masih said I'm already thinking about instead of setting random set levels for buy and sell, we could combine this with our with other indicators to set better levels, maybe use based on ATR, or even use this with the algo uh top get into our positions. I'm thinking about this already, Sean. This could work with the algo. Yeah, no, definitely. Like we can use this tool to set entries for the algo, right? So like, if we have a specific time, like a timed entry. This could be used to set limit orders. Um, I think this helps a lot because market orders are just not going to work very well. And if we can use a tool, something like this to set, limit orders, I think it's going to help a lot, right? Because it's going to allow us to already have the order set up and ready to go and all automated as well. Yeah. So I'm glad you're thinking about it, Masij, and I'm glad this is going to be useful to us. So yeah, we might not use this tool for this specific reason, but I'm glad that this kind of got us thinking of how to use this for our own strategies. Yeah. So you guys can see here, I mean, YM is just a little slow. So you basically would have to use a bigger contract size to really make, I guess, meaningful profits in a sense, or even create the grid where it's a little tighter. So right now it's at 400 profit, or almost it was 400, now it's 250. Um, but yeah, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. I just wanted to show you guys this tool. I thought this tool was pretty cool in a sense. Um, to, mainly to just pass evals, not really to trade. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of things that you can build off using something like this. All right. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, so YM is starting to kind of move directional. Again, like I said earlier, when it moves directional, this doesn't work very well. But just using this type of logic, where to place your orders or how to set pending orders and stuff like that, this this could be useful. So yeah, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna send the link to you right now, Message actually for this tool. It's the cool thing is that it has a 14 day trial. So you can kind of try out all of the features and understand how it works. Yeah, it's very simple. You don't have to pay for anything either. You just got to put your email in. All right, so I'm gonna send this to you right now, Masish, if you want to play around with it. There's no rush. No, this is just a side project. Damn, you killed it today, Nick. Nice profit. So Nick just sent me his profits for today. Took this big move right there. Locked in about 10,000 for the week. Nice work, Nick. And Nick is now done for the week. Awesome. Um, all right. So you guys see here how it's starting to really move very heavily for YM. Look at the negative profits right here. So like I said, this isn't good at all times. Like if you're doing a 50K count, I mean, you obviously wouldn't do 5 contracts, but if you're doing a 50K count, this would have been pretty bad, right? So, all right, I'm gonna turn this off right now. I'm just gonna take this off completely. If you guys have any questions regarding it or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. Masij is gonna work on I guess, something for us to use, which would be good. And I'm now going to stop sharing on this screen. So let's go back to my main screen here. Yeah, just wanted to show you guys that. I mean, I think it's a cool tool. Honestly, I think it's a really cool tool. I don't think it's good for a lot of things. It's only good for like passing evals and at certain time periods. And you'd have to find an asset that's not moving directional. Like I think something like you'd have to find something super boring, like gold. I think it would work good in gold because it's so choppy here right now, right? But yeah, NQ and YM are moving directional right now. So we're actually NQ is starting to move sideways, but YM for sure was starting to move directional, so it wouldn't work out too well. Anyways, yeah, Ed said it might work well in pre-market. Yeah, because so the thing with that is that you need to find a market where it's still moving, but it's choppy. Lila said, why couldn't we use this tool for regular trading? Sure would reduce stress. Yeah, I know. Doing it all automated definitely does help a lot. But yeah, you'd have to find like the proper parameters to use it on, of course. Anyways, guys, let's go back to the list over here. So all of the entries that came up today so far, we actually didn't take any trades today. Um, let me check my list of trades over here. So the 721, that was skipped, of course. Let's see what else. So all of these were against momentum. So 740 over here, this was against momentum for a buy. That'd be a no entry. 749, this would be a sell. That'd be no entry. And 750 over here, this would be a buy for a loss, but also no entry there. So loss, but no trade. All right, so I updated the spreadsheet, guys. Let me go over here real quick and show you guys where we're at for the week. So if you took every single trade that came up, or like, every listed trade here, we were up 4R on Monday, 1R on Tuesday, so that's 5R. -2 on Wednesday, then -2 today. So that would be plus 1R. So you'd still be in profit for this week if you took all of the listed entries. If you just took the target entries, like the official entries, you'd be at break even. So this week isn't so great. It's a 1R, so positive week for all the trades, and then break even for target entries. So, I mean, there's a lot of news this week. So just keep in mind, Tuesday was NFP, and then we had CPI news today, and then there's just a lot of news events. I think this is the heaviest news week we've had in forever, really. Like, I think this was the most news events I've ever seen in one day on Tuesday. This should have been a sign to not trade, right? Because we had NFP this day, we had jobs data, we had um, payroll. There's just a lot of stuff happening on Tuesday, and this should have been the day to maybe be careful. We didn't really be careful. We just kind of took trades as they normally were. And then Wednesday, of course, there was just the Fed speaking. Today we had CPI data, and then tomorrow we have Michigan consumer sentiment and existing home sales. So it's a pretty stacked week with regard to news this week. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't take any trades today. Looks like some people here did get some good trades, but for the most part, it's uh it's pretty much flat for me at least. Hey Paul, I see you with your baby. You got daddy duties right now. Alina's about to come over here too. I know my wife, she kept walking by trying to give Alina to me. She's probably gonna My wife's gonna go to the gym, so she's probably gonna give her to me in a bit. Masij said, all right, heading to get water, ready to start the showcase of the Chrome extension. Okay, all right, Masij. So Masij is gonna take over right now. If you guys forgot, Masij is gonna explain how to use the Chrome extension. So I'm going to make Masij a co-host, and he is going to take over. All right, Masij. So whenever you're ready, um, go ahead and share your screen. I'm gonna change the title for this video too, so that we remember. I'll go Chrome. So I'll just wait for Masih here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Just another reminder, guys, Masih is going to hop on right now. He's going to explain the Chrome extension, how to pretty much produce this this list of trades automatically. I still do it by hand because I personally like to see the trades come up and analyze them myself. But if you guys want to have it automated, um, Masih is going to show you guys how to do that when he gets back. He's heading to get water, he mentioned. So yeah, once he gets back. And this week's kind of been all over the place. I was really hoping this was going to be a really good week because last week seemed pretty nice, but that's the market for you. That is the market for you. Um,
Okay. Hi, everyone.
some Prestige is on. I'm gonna let him take the wheel. I'm gonna go and mute myself.
Okay, so I'm going to go through exactly how you create the entries exactly like Sean does every day, but in for any asset you want, for any TPSL you want. So yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Give me a moment. Mhm. Sean, do you know if I'm able to share the whole screen? Because it's only allowing me to share tabs.
Yeah, so go to share and then when you have the options, there's an option where it says entire screen and you can choose the desktop if you have multiple screens. Depending on
Okay,
which
got it. Got it.
you got
I
it.
see
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Okay, guys, you can see me here. Um, I'm going to go through the whole system. So I have all the instructions here, but granted they're long, they're complicated, and it's probably easier if I go through all of them to help you guys. So I'll be looking in the chat. If anyone needs help at any stage, I'll stop and help you because I want to make sure everyone gets this because it's very important to the success of us all if we all find our own strategies and can contribute together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to the Algo extensions and automations tab in the Discord server. So you're going to press that, and then you're going to go to the Google Drive link here. So this is going to take you to a folder with 3 items. Let me subtract this. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to go to the Chrome extension.zip, and you're going to go here, and you're going to press download. Okay, there we go. It's downloaded. So now you need to, I'm on Safari right now, but you need to have Google Chrome for this to work because the first part of this is a Chrome extension. So I'm going to go into my Google Chrome now. These two out. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, wait, 1 second, let me read the chat. Make sure everyone, is everyone good? The first 2 steps, pretty simple. I think it should be fine. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to go to this little button here, extensions. You're going to go to manage extensions, and then you're going to want to turn this on in the corner. It's going to be off for you. You're going to turn on developer mode. Then you're going to click load unpacked. You're going to go to your downloads, and you're going to see this. It's going to be Chrome extension distribution. And you're going to click on this. I'm showing this all on Mac. It should be the exact same on Windows. If you need any help for Windows, just reach out to me. So now you're going to select that and you're going to see TradingView Strategy Automator here. Now you're going to have to go to TradingView. On the web, you can't do it in the app. You're going to go to Super Charts and you're going to be on the chart. So I'm going to go to the chat, make sure everyone has it. Okay, Rock got it. Is anyone having trouble getting the extension if they're doing it along with me right now? Just wait a second. Okay, Elad said I need Windows. Well, it should be the exact same on Windows. You just press download, and then you're going to download the zip file, and then um, you may need to, let me show you. You may need to go to your, when you go to your downloads, you may need to right click it and press unzip, and then, um, and then press the load unpacked in Chrome again. Okay, great. Elad got it. Okay, so now that you have oh, sorry, my dog's barking. Now that you have the strategy automator ready, you're going to go to the corner. I would recommend you pin it. So it's going to be here. So now you're going to see all these options here while you're in the chart. So you're going to see API key, you're going to see start time, end time, wait time, reward, and risk. So you're going to need to get your own API key. So what you're going to go do is you're going to go to the Discord. You're going to go to the request API key channel, and you're going to do slash request, and this command will come up. You'll have to click on this, and then you're going to select a rate limit. This doesn't really matter. Do anything from 50 to 100. I'm going to do 100. Press enter, and I'm going to get a DM. I'm going to approve or deny your request. I'll always approve it as long as your rate limit isn't something ridiculous. And then I'm going to click approve. And then it's going to send me this API key. So you're going to get your very own API key. So I'll wait a minute while people are doing that. So you can request your API key now. Of course, I'll be accepting them later, but whoever's following along with me right now, they can request their API key. Oops, chat. Access doesn't allow me some of the options I saw in yours. I'll follow. Barack, could you explain what you mean? My access doesn't allow me some of the options I saw in yours. I'll follow with Sean. Um, do you mean in the Discord when you're trying to request a key? I'm not sure what you mean, Barack. Oh, you only see live Zoom links? That's interesting. Let me try to
Yeah,
add you
Brock,
in the channel.
go to you might have to show all channels. I think that's what it is. So you go to your Discord and then so Masij, can you go to the top right there where it says Cody Kai Trades on the top left?
Yep.
And then right there where it says show all channels, it's checked off. I mean, Brock, make sure you have that enabled so it shows all the channels. I think that might be the problem.
Okay. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Did you get it, Barack? Okay, good. So I think Barack and um a lot are following along. So I should see your requests coming in soon if you do slash request. Oh, okay. Okay, got it, Brock. So yeah, so that's fine. You can request an API key later, but yeah, if you so just request an API key. I'm not going to show it again, but you can rewatch the stream because Sean is streaming it, so you can see how to do it. So once you have your API key, so I'm gonna go and copy this one that I just got from the bot. I'm gonna go to my trading view and I'm gonna paste my API key in here. now this is where it gets more fun because now we're actually getting into the juice of the strategy. So you're going to put in your API key. You're going to input a start time. So to get it exactly like Sean's, he starts from 8:29, I believe, if I think so, and he ends at 10 for his search. So I'm going to put 8:29 as the start time and 10 as the end time. The wait time, so this depends on how good your computer is. It should be, oh, 1 second, there's a chat. Let me look. Okay, thanks, Sean. Okay. The wait time is, I put it on 10 seconds. My computer is, I mean, it's fine. 10 seconds should be good for anyone, pretty much. Um, and you can set your risk to reward. So right now we're using a 60 to 30 based on stage two of the deep back test. And I'm still going through the results. I'm going to send the rest to Sean later tonight. But yeah, as of right now, we're using 60 to 30. So all you have to do, you have to have the strategy report open from the Cody Kai momentum algorithm that you should have access to if you're in this Zoom call, I'm guessing. And then you're just gonna go here. You have your everything inputted correctly, and you're gonna press start automation. It's gonna say connecting. It's gonna open. I'm not doing anything right now. I'm not touching my keyboard. I'm not doing anything. And it's going to do everything for me. It's selecting the momentum. It pressed OK. It's going back in. It's going to select 8:29, as we said the first time. It's going to wait 10 seconds because that's what we said. It finished much quicker because we have a low time frame set right now, but it finished much faster. So it's going to wait 10 seconds exactly. And then it's going to do, there we go. It's downloaded the first back test. Now it's going to go again. It's going to go to 8:30. It's going to press OK. The report's going to update, and then it's going to download. And so it's going to do that for every single time from 8:29 to 10 for both the with momentum and against momentum. So in the end, you're going to have 182 files that you downloaded. Don't worry, they're not that big. And so once you have those files, that's when you move on to um, stage two. So we're going to go back to Discord. We're going to go back into the Google Drive. It's here. And now this is where you're going to select either Mac or Windows. So if you have a Mac, you're going to select Mac. If you have Windows, you're going to select Windows. And you're going to go here. Oh yeah, obviously. So you have to, in Chrome, you're going to have to wait for the whole thing to finish. It's going to take about an hour and a half, but you just run it the night before and you're good. You don't have to do anything. You just leave your computer. It runs for an hour and a half and you have all your files. So then you're going to go to, I'm on Mac, so I'm going to press download here. It's going to wait. It's zipping. Okay, great. There we go. So now I'm going to go to my downloads folder. I have the Mac. So I'm going to rename this now. I'm going to rename it Strategy Analyzer. You can name it whatever you want. That doesn't matter. I'm just naming it for simplicity's sake. Then we're going to double click on this. So there's going to be a bunch of files in here. You can read through the guide, but it's basically what I'm doing now. You can read through this on your own. But basically, the step one is you're going to need to double click this, the install.command. Okay, you're on Mac. You're going to double click this, and it's going to install all the necessary things for you. And then what you're going to do is those 180 files. Obviously, I only have one, but you're going to have 180, 182 files. You're going to select all of them. You're going to copy, and you're going to go back to the same folder, not that one, and you're going to paste all of them. So you'll have 180 files in here. Then you're going to go here. You're going to double click run analyzer.command, and it is going to give you a list. It's going to run for 20, 30 seconds, and it's going to give you a list. Let me see if I can find it in the premium chat. I'm going to go up a little bit because that's when I used to send entries. Let's see. It's gonna give you a list exactly like this here, which is the exact same as what Sean does, just in text format. And it's all automated. You can do it for any TP, any SL, any asset that you want. You could do it on gold. You could do it on soybean. I really like soybean. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple to set up. If you need any help, you can watch the stream. You can message me. If you have any issues, you can message me. I'm looking forward to all the strategies you come up with because obviously I don't have time to do every TP, every SL on every asset. So I'm looking forward to what all of you come up with. Um, I can go back to the chat, see if there are any messages. Okay. Levi, Barack understood. Okay, great. That's all for me. Stop sharing. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, thanks, Masij, for giving us that rundown. I changed the title of the video, and I'll post this also under the Algo page if you guys want to review it. But no, that's it. Pretty much simplifies the whole process. Basically, I do this stuff by hand, by preference, because I like to look at the data as I pull it in. But for those of you who want to just run the data on different assets, like Masij likes to trade, or he likes to look at soybean, which is perfectly fine, right? Trade something that people don't trade. If you look at the assets over here, there's so many different future assets that you can trade. You don't have to trade YM, right? You can trade gold, you can trade NQ, you can trade ES, you can trade silver, you can trade oil, you can trade Bitcoin. You can trade whatever you like. But yeah, using that tool that Masij has put together for us, this kind of simplifies the process because for me, I do everything by hand. And you think about doing that for every single asset, for every single TP stop loss, for every single time frame. It takes up a lot of time. So this is going to be beneficial not just for you specifically, but it's going to be beneficial for the community, right? Because if you guys find an edge that you think is good, we can collaborate with each other, not just me, but with you and other people using that data, and we can dig deeper, right? Like for example, if you looked at the assets, if you looked at something and you found something cool with oil, right? And somebody else is like, okay, cool, let's pull up the data and let's see what the numbers look like. And then you guys can figure out algo entries that work good on that specific asset. That opens the door to different assets to trade. Obviously, Masij is doing a deep back test of the algo right now with YM. Obviously, as we progress further and further, we can start to run that data on different assets, figure out what has the best TP stop loss and what has the best time parameters to use. So this is great. It's great. It just simplifies the process, automates it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions regarding this, feel free to reach out to me or Masij. I'm probably not going to be able to answer your question, but I'll be able to relay that question to Masij and get an answer for you. But yeah, pretty much super straightforward, super easy. Again, if you guys want to rewatch this video, I'm going to post it. I'll do it right now, actually. So for those of you who want to have access to it, put it right here under Algo. So this is going to be, I'll put this over here, everyone. Chrome extension explanation at end of session. All right, cool. So I posted it right there under the Algo page. I'll also post it over here in the chat. But all right, guys, I think that might be it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Masij. Again, I'm really excited for you guys to use this. I mean, a lot of you guys have been using it already. CJ's not here right now, but CJ's been killing it, as you guys can see. CJ does, sorry, my daughter's toying in the background. But so basically, CJ has ran the algo on different time frames. So not just on the 1 minute, but he runs it on the 5, 10, and higher time frames. So you guys can do that as well. And if you guys want to use a Chrome extension to do that for you manually, you can do that too. So. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, today wasn't the best day. I didn't take any entries, so a flat day for me, 0 trades, and a couple losses over here if you took the entire list of trades. There's a win and then a couple losses. But other than that, uh, just the choppy week so far with all the news events. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will catch